Today, I will be discussing about Agent Orange and the effects it had during the Vietnam War. Now, living in the Midwest, we've all experienced and probably seen crop dusters. These are planes that are flying over crops and dropping heavy amounts of pesticides in order to prevent bugs from damaging the crops. Now, what some people don't realize is the effects that it can have on the communities of people living in these areas where these pesticides are dropped. Now, during the Vietnam War, during the years of 1962 and 1971, the American Army dropped on herbicides instead of pesticides onto the forests. Now, the herbicide that was used went by the name of Agent Orange, and it was aimed to defoliate a lot of the forest from the Vietnamese. This went by the name of Operation Ranch Hand, which was aimed to remove the food supplies and other hiding spots in order to prevent the Vietnamese army from using them against the American army. The American army ordered their soldiers to fly over these forested areas and drop down the herbicides. The American army was dropping this herbicide in order to move the Vietnamese out of the jungle and forested areas while destroying their hiding spots. Sadly, this did lead to the devastation that herbicides can bring to environmental areas such as this forest. To build on the devastation that Agent Orange caused, many of the Vietnamese people who were exposed to the chemical that was released into their area began having a lot of birth defects, and a lot more cancers had sprung up. It is truly devastating to see the effects that Agent Orange had on the new generation of people trying to grow up in Vietnam. Now, this relates to our class context in the terms of Silent Spring, written by Rachel Carson. In her book, she describes the war of man versus nature and how man is using many pesticides to kill many things deemed as pests. As she says in her book, Silent Spring, non-selective chemicals that have the power to kill every insect, the good and the bad, to steal the song of the birds and the leaping of the fish in the streams, to coat the leaves with a deadly film, and to linger on in the soil. Yes. We watched a video of how all over America DDT was being used. We see here in this video that the American population perceived these pesticides as safe and non-harmful to themselves and others. They sprayed all over the country. These children here are eating a nice picnic, but spraying them is so wrong to see, even in the pool. Now, spraying herbicides and pesticides, they are two different things, but there isn't that much of a difference. The herbicides that were sprayed over Vietnam was truly devastating, as it impacted not only their communities that they lived in, but also their futures that they would have. Now, these pesticides that are sprayed over the Midwest and other parts of the country in order to control pests in certain fields and crop areas, I think, are not really needed, as it can be harmful to not only the environment but also the people that it comes in contact with.